everyone, my name is Jasmine, Aubrey, Andrea. I'm a student of Venus University, majoring Management and Information System. My student ID is listed below. The purpose of this video is to do an assignment for English for Business presentation given to me by Miss Masda. In this video, I'm going to explain to you about e-learning versus traditional learning. This video will take about 10 minutes of your time, and this video also explains the result of my research, that is which one do people prefer, e-learning or traditional learning. The purpose of me doing this research is so that my respondent can know which of the method they are more comfortable with, so they can study better with it. Why am I interested in this topic? It is because, as far as I know, people have their own ways of studying. And so with the new method of e-learning, I am curious how people will react to the change of their studying method. So, for the past few years, technology has been growing rapidly. Technology is now a big part of our society and our foreseeable future. Now, this here is the chart of technology development. And in this chart, as you can see, in the year of 2000, the technology development rise up. In a short amount of time, the technology can develop so much. This development of technology not only affect our economic and our politics, but also our educational system. Now, this technology development brought us to our topics, that is, the e-learning. Now, e-learning stands for electronic learning. This method of learning allows users to take courses online through electronic devices such as computer, tablet, laptop, or even their cell phones. On the other hand, many people still cling to the old learning method, that is the traditional learning. And a debate rises up between the two of them. Which one is more effective for the student? E-learning has its own advantages and disadvantages. The advantages is that people can take courses all around the world 24/7, 7 days a week, and they can manage their own schedule. E-learning also costs less than traditional learning because you don't have to pay for the school, you don't have to pay for the teacher, and you don't have to pay for the rest of the things. These other things include accommodation, training materials, and teacher salary. E-learning also provides users with learning material anywhere they want, whenever they want, as long as they're connected to the internet. Now, where there's advantages, of course, there are disadvantages. One of them is that the user must have developed, let's just say, responsibility and discipline. Because when you're online, nobody can give you that. And when you're at school, you have a teacher to give you homeworks and stuff, so you're aware of the responsibility you have. In an online learning, you cannot make friends like in classroom learning. You also cannot feel the competition like in the classroom. Competition is important to stimulate the student. The traditional learning method gives the student experience of dealing with their peers face to face, because usually the student in one class is the same age, so they are able to form a friendship. For traditional learning method, there are also some disadvantages, that is the cost, not to mention the transportational cost and the teacher salary. Also, you have to pay for the school tuition fee every month. But traditional learning method is a good way to shape a student characteristic. On the other hand, traditional learning method is identical with fixed schedules, so a student cannot learn at their own free time. If plans unexpectedly change, the student cannot reschedule their school because it is a fixed schedule from the school. That's all the theory I'm going to give you guys. Now, let's jump right to the result of my questionnaire. Now, in this research, I provide a questionnaire for my respondent. I made them in Google form and I share them through Line. The theme of this questionnaire is like the title of my essay, that is traditional learning versus e-learning. Now in this questionnaire, it's all multiple choice, and I got 10 respondents and 6 questions. And now I will read you the result of my research. I have 6 questions. The first question is, have you ever used ebook? As we all know, ebook is an electronic book that can be accessed through electronic device, a computer, laptop, and even your smartphone. Ebook may consist of image, text, or both. The result for this question is that 20% of my respondents never used ebook, and the rest 80% have used them. This proves that people tend to use electronic device even just to do reading. The second question is I'm asking the reader which learning method would they prefer. That is, the first one is A, by reading textbook, B, by reading ebook, C is by rewriting the whole subject, and D is by reading the subject's PowerPoint. By answering the option A or C, the respondent told us that they prefer traditional method more than e-learning. But by answering the option B or D, it means they prefer the e-learning method. And the result for this question is that 20% by textbook, 20% by ebook, 30% by rewriting the whole subjects, and 30% by reading the subject's PowerPoint. As for this question, the result is a tie between traditional method and e-learning method. The third question is, I asked the reader preference about the method to take notes. That is, A, taking note by typing, B, taking note by writing. Now, this question finds out how far the technology has influenced our learning style. Now, traditional learning is identical with taking notes manually on a textbook. So by answering B means the respondents prefer the traditional learning method, and by answering A means the respondent prefer the e-learning method. The result for this question is 50% A and 50% B. Almost half of my respondents prefer the E method. So for this question, the result is also a tie. The fourth question is, I asked the respondent preference about the teacher's way of teaching. Now, when e-learning comes up, the way of teaching is also changed. So teachers prefer to use PowerPoint and internet to teach rather than using books like the traditional method. So in this question, I gave my respondent 4 choices. That is A, teaching through PowerPoints, B, teaching through textbook, C, telling you to learn more through internet by yourself, and D, teaching everything in class. So by choosing the B and D question means that the respondent prefer the traditional way of learning, and by answering the A and C means the respondent prefer the e-learning method. So the result for this question is that 30% teaching through PowerPoint, 10% teaching through notebook, 20% teaching through textbook, and 40% teaching everything in class. So this question proves that people prefer learning through contact with the internet and digital devices, but they also still need the teacher to explain the matter to them in the classroom, but without using any book. Even though people prefer e-learning, they still need teacher to guide them through the whole subject. And the fifth question is, I asked people preference about submitting homework. Nowadays, submitting homework is no longer using paper and submit it to the teacher, but also the student must upload their homework into the internet. So in this question, I provide two choices for my respondent. That is, the first one is A, submit homework straight to the teacher by paper. That is the traditional learning method. And B, submitting homework by internet or file down uploading, and that is the e-learning method. And the result for this question is 80% submitting by internet and 20% submitting to the teacher. So from this answer, we can know that the respondent prefer to collect their homework through internet rather than giving them straight to the teacher. Now the sixth and the last question that I provide for my respondent is that I ask for their preference on taking quiz or exam, because nowadays most of the exam are taken not manual but by computer instead of writing in the paper. Those kind of ways of exam is called computer-based exam. For this question, I provide my respondent with two multiple choices, that is A, paper-based quiz or exam, and B, computer-based exam. And the result for this question is 50% paper-based and 50% computer-based. From this answer, we can conclude that even though people are not familiar with the computer-based exam, they prefer to do it anyway. This shows how much technology has penetrated our lifestyle. That's all the result from my questionnaire. Now, let's go to the suggestion part. My suggestion for my respondent and to all people is that everyone has their own way of learning, and for some, a flexibility schedule, ability to solve a problem for their own, and personal motivation seems desirable. Now, for those people, e-learning seems to be a suitable method, and for people who prefers working in groups and interacting with others, with other people in regular basis, a traditional learning method would be suitable for them. In conclusion, e-learning has been around for more than anyone would notice, and it has been a competitor of the traditional learning method. And although there are many advantages and disadvantages on both, much of it comes down to personal preference and knowing how you learn best. Moreover, the role of teacher is still important. Hence, if a teacher interacts with a student at computer, the student's motivation to use it increases and vice versa. Overall, the finishing product is a higher education and more confident level. That is all I have to give you about my research. Thank you for your time. I will see you next time.